So Zion, today we're talking about For Everyone. And why don't you share with us a little bit about how the song got started?
So I remember it was in actually a worship service. I had been scheduled for keys that weekend, and I was in a moment of free worship and was just kind of leading the team and kind of playing a chord progression. And I remember a conversation that I had had with our head pastor and talking about vision moving forward, and even how we wanted to elongate a little bit of our mission statement, falling underneath plan, hope, and future, and that this was really for everybody, that everybody had a plan and a hope and a future. There's a future for every generation, not just the future generation. And really we're kind of sitting on the possibility of turning that into a song. So I remember in that worship set, it's just the melody and the words just kind of flowed out of my spirit, and I was on MD, so I had to be quiet, but I just remember singing in this free worship moment, really the chorus as it kind of unfolded. And obviously we had to do a little bit of fine-tuning to piece together the puzzle of the phrasing and different things, but really the song started in that moment of free worship in a worship set.
So that bridge is pretty powerful. It gets pretty big. So
That's
what?
My favorite part.
I know. Everybody always goes crazy on that. So what was your, I don't know, maybe thought process or your heart kind of heading into that moment? You knew you wanted to create a moment, but what did that kind of look like?
Well, it's funny. So after that worship set, we have this room off to the side next to our studio. We call it the songwriting room, and I remember going straight there, and I couldn't shake this picture, this imagery in my head of like. All of the kingdom of God. Kingdom of God is His people. So every nationality, every ethnic group, every demographic background, it didn't matter. Everybody together in this incredible room, just singing worship together. And I kept seeing this amazing picture of individuals coming home, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just in my spirit couldn't shake the idea of what would we be seeing as the room would be filling up with people. Like what would be the anthem that would be coming out of this incredible group of people that is just growing larger and larger, which really is the church. And so that's really the imagery that painted this amazing picture that the bridge does, I really feel like.
So I remember when you brought the chorus to me and you kind of cast the vision for what you wanted the song to be, and then we actually sat down together and wrote that bridge. We kind of hammered it out and worked it out together, and then we worked backwards and got the verses finalized. And so it's kind of weird because sometimes you usually write like a verse first, and then you go to your chorus and your bridge, but we kind of wrote this in reverse. And so I remember sitting down kind of thinking, okay, this is where the song ends up, so what's the story that we want to tell? And that line of come find your hope. So I was reminded in the book of Isaiah, around chapter 40, the topic changes to messages of hope. And I was thinking, what has been the message all along? The same thing that the Lord was speaking to the people in the Old Testament, I think is the same thing that He's speaking now, currently. And I think it's the same thing He's always going to be speaking, and that's about bringing salvation. And I tried to just paint a picture of dawn rising, but that's really what happens in our hearts when we awaken to who the Lord is, when we awaken to salvation, when we awaken to hope. It's sort of a waking up. It's a new day. It's a fresh start. And so that's really what my heart was in writing that verse.
And I love, honestly, the song. I feel like it has. I really feel like it's prophetic in nature, and there's just this level of faith that's spoken in the lyric. And when you sing it, I know for myself, even when I sing it, I can see individuals in my life who I'm still having the conversation about Jesus with. I see them coming home, and it's this incredible declaration of faith and speaking over what I know to be and what I know to come. And it's almost a prayer, really a prayer, a prophetic prayer of those who don't know the Lord. And I love that it's really become an anthem for our house and our congregation of that faith, that foundation of faith, that we're not just singing for ourselves anymore. We're singing for the city around us, and we're singing to tear down our walls, to allow what's happening in here to be seen elsewhere. And it just makes it a really special and cool experience to sing it with your community. Take a listen.
Take a listen.
Take a listen.
Share it.
That's a wrap.